Hello everyone, happy Spooktacular and welcome back to Sideshow Live. We are here today with a special guest. Dee Bradley Baker! Oh my god!
Hey!
Hi guys! Or a T-Rex. I'm not, wait, was that a T? That was like a raptor.
No, I was just clearing my sinuses.
Oh, alright.
It's
Fair
the fall
enough.
air is getting to me.
Fair enough. So Dee Bradley Baker is a voice acting legend and pretty much voices all the characters and monsters that you guys know and love.
Oh, a fair number.
A fair number.
There's a fair number out
we
there.
did like some math about it, and you've done a lot of Star Wars.
Yep.
A lot of creatures.
Yeah.
A lot of monsters.
Yes.
You build your own monsters.
Yes. I've been monster building for the past few weekends.
And it's amazing looking. And then we also just recently found out that you were Beetlejuice at one point.
Yep, Beetlejuice is fun. That's a lot of fun being Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I was the first walk-around Beetlejuice at Universal Studios when they first opened up in 1990, and I was having fun doing lots of fun things in Orlando back then. And it is so fun to be Beetlejuice. It's more fun to be Beetlejuice than Santa. And I was Santa. That was actually my first acting gig, was being a mall Santa.
Oh my god.
And you have great insight into people and into a family dynamic. This really insightful snapshot as Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Beetlejuice is totally different. You can be. It's almost like The Mask in a way. A movie I just watched, Jim Carrey's The Mask, where you can just say and just harass people. You can harass women, and everyone thinks it's funny. He's a very non-Me Too character, but he's beloved for that. And it's just, it was really fun. I'd do days during the day. I'd work at Disney and do shows there for the Squeaky Clean, health-oriented improv show that we did. And then at nights I would go and I'd put on a trench coat that I would slather in fish that I bought, so I smelled horrible, and I would dumpster dive as Beetlejuice. And I smelled terrible, and it's like,
Hey, come here, let's take a picture. Let's get real close, It's like, come on, let's all are you in the sky thing, tell me. And they're like, oh, Beetlejuice.
That's so amazing and
It's,
disgusting.
great
but
fun.
also amazing.
That's Beetlejuice. He's amazing and disgusting.
That's true. That's true. I watch it every Halloween season, so I watched it like 5 days ago or something, and there's just his face is like coming off. And that's the part that I find the grossest, is whatever rotting is happening right here around.
Yeah, that's a makeup artist, V. Neal. Makeup artist Spectacular is doing that. It's probably like latex, and you just kind of peel off a little bit.
I caught myself doing this at like one point, just going. Yeah, it does. I was like, ugh. It's
Oh, we
gross.
love Beetlejuice.
Awesome.
What fun. Do it again. Let's do it again. Let's all go back and do Beetlejuice again.
Amazing. So, Dee, something that you are kind of known for, especially in our community,
Yes?
is the clones.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Yes, the clones are coming back.
They are coming back.
Going back in.
So, one, we are so excited about that.
I am too. No one's more excited than I am.
So that answers the question. Will you be reprising your role as several clones? In the
Oh,
new
oh
clones?
yes. There's
That's
gonna be several clones. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're going back in, and it's not only about the clones, but there's a lot of clones. It
Well,
starts
it's called
out.
Clone Wars.
That's
so-
right. That's right. That's kind of the backdrop. There's a lot more going on there,
Uh-huh.
and Dave and company want to dive back in and finish off that show and give it the finish that it deserves.
Yeah.
Which the fans have been clamoring for and crying out for consistently, increasingly since the show was canceled and the pipeline, as they said, was smashed. And I mean, none of us thought, I didn't think that it would ever come back. But if I had one Hollywood wish, it would be exactly that. Would be to bring back the Clone Wars and finish the Clone Wars.
Oh my gosh.
But I never thought that it would happen. It looked like the company had been changed fundamentally, and that they were taking it in new directions, which is great. There's more Star Wars coming out now than ever in lots of different forms. But man, I never thought they would turn back and head back to the Clone Wars. But I think since Netflix allowed Clone Wars a new life and breathing room and space to grow, And that's when it really took off. The fandom really took off and took notice and saw that this is strong, deeply satisfying Star Wars. And Dave, who really loved the show and is so deeply ready to do this, said, let's do it. And he wanted to do it. And so they, of course, said yes, because he does such a spectacular job with all of his shows. Are you happy about that?
I'm not gonna cry. Like, I'm trying so hard not to cry. We were together, like, because it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and Andy and I are usually unable to leave the booth. So I actually got a text from my boyfriend who was in the panel, and I didn't believe him. He was like, Clone Wars is back, and I was like, ha ha ha. And then he showed up at the booth like with this trailer, like, and was like, you guys need to watch this. And I'm like in tears, and you're like, why are you crying? And I was like, Clone Wars is back.
There's all these helmets.
There's all these helmets in the ground. And they're here, and it's back. And you're like, what? And so we like turned it around, and we were watching it like, Clone Wars is back.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The audience was very excited. That was a very exciting moment.
I was very jealous that I was not in the room where it happened, so to speak.
Yeah, it's thrilling. It's thrilling because everybody wants more. Mm-hmm. They want more of that story.
Yeah.
And it's you know, there's a lot going on with Clone Wars. It's a very sad story, but very meaningful, and just this very dramatic descent that has to happen before the dawn, of A New Hope, and it's just great.
Yeah,
it's just great. I could not be more thrilled.
I'm just so excited, and
I think you're going to be very happy with it. It looks fantastic. It looks
I know
amazing.
You're not allowed to talk, but I
can
want to
tell
ask.
you, it's the best looking Clone Wars you've ever seen. It's their animation and what they're able to do is more sophisticated and secure, and what they do never goes backwards or holds still. Mm-hmm. Dave and the group are always learning and moving the technology, and more importantly, the artistry of it forward. That's so much of the vitality of what they've brought to this and why it still lives and thrives.
Yeah.
Frankly,
absolutely,
it's all to their credit. It's an amazing collaborative team of artists and technicians there.
Wow.
I'm so lucky to be able to be a part of it.
We're so grateful to have you as a part of it, because you bring voice to the clones.
Well, thank you.
I was like, I kept wanting to clap, but I was like, we're not in a huge audience. It's just, but yeah.
Thanks.
But the clones really didn't have any life or personalities, if you think about it, until they were made into these characters that Dave created, you brought to life, the writers tweaked.
Yes.
And,
they tested that at first, and because they weren't sure if that would work either. I mean, that was one of the things about the prequels, is that the robots and the clones were not individuated. They didn't seem as individuals. And that was the tweak that the series made successful.
Yes.
It was exactly that, is that you have individuals. And Henry Gilroy and the team of writers and all, they started at first, but they weren't sure that this was going to work. And Lord knows I didn't either, to go in there and say, you're going to be all these different guys. And first of all, it's like I wasn't yet secure with what I was doing with it. And because I'm not usually cast in something like that, a straight-ahead soldier. It's not what I'm normally brought in to do. But to have them all, some be experienced, some to have a sense of humor, some to be more macho, some to be a wise guy. I mean, it's like they're all different guys, and we want them to feel like a different person. That was the experiment that was kind of terrifying as an actor to try something like that. That's not like anything I've ever been able to do or been allowed to do. It's completely.
It's incredible though, because when you're looking at like the locker room sometimes of the clones on Camino, it's the same visually. It looks like the same type of, like, it is the same guy,
Yeah.
But you're having a conversation and you know exactly who's talking, even though they have the same voice and they look the same, but somehow they're completely different people.
Well, good. I mean, that's
crazy.
I'll take some credit for some of that, but it's also that visually they look a little different. They mod out their tats and their hair and their armor and all that. So it's like they want to be individuals, you know, visually. And then they're written a little bit different. That, you know, one's more technical, one's more timid, one's more in command. That is already layered in as well. And then I bring in where, as an actor, I would add, I might like add an adjective or two that I would note for each of the individual clones to help me shape the performance a little bit differently. Yeah. And it's subtle, but you add all those things together and you buy. Yeah. Hopefully, it seems that people do, that these guys are individuals. That's the goal. That's the payoff.
And it's achieved in that show.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And wow. So as much as I don't want to move on from Clone Wars, we could do a whole show.
Yeah,
on
we
Clone
could.
Wars.
I could talk about Clone Wars all day. All the things I can't say.
Everyone watching, there is a Q&A segment with Dee, so be sure to ask questions in the chat. We have Buffy and Bree in there collecting questions for you guys, from you guys for Dee for a little bit later in the show. So besides Clone Wars, you are also in a new Star Wars show called Resistance, we hear?
Yes. I think I can say that. Yeah.
Well, you're on IMDb in it.
I am.
So.
Well, IMDb isn't always right.
That's true.
I did not work on Avatar Airbender movie. I was not involved with that movie. And IMDb says I was, and I can't make IMDb take my name off that movie. So you can't always trust IMDb.
Okay.
But in this case, it's true.
Okay.
I do this little jerk of a character named Greville, who's this little kind of a Joe Pesci so-and-so of a combatant little jerk of a character who's he's very fun to play. He's very different from the clones.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I haven't watched yet, but I'm really, really excited to.
It's great. I mean, it's so cool to see that they have the confidence to go with a totally different visual style, but still keep it in the world. And I mean, I think that all again just speaks to the artistry and the confidence that whole that Lucas Animation just keeps pumping out.
Yeah.
They're not just doing the same thing over and over again. They're building and they're growing, and it's and to the happiness of all fans.
Exactly, because like so many years we were just relying on the like expanded universe books, and now we have this expanded universe that's in animation, that's in comics,
and it's canon,
and it's all canon, and it's all real, and like real. It's all real.
Yeah,
it's real. It happens.
It's real. It's really really
real.
happening. It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening right now somewhere in the galaxy.
Oh yes, it is.
Wow, I just opened a can of worms. Anyway. So, Dee, you visited us on Sideshow Live before.
Yes.
And Steve Bloom.
Yes, my brother from another mother.
He pretty much, I don't know if it was throwing you, made us aware that you do a thing called playing your face. So if you all haven't seen Dee play his face, you need to go to our YouTube channel and check that out.
What do I do? I don't remember what I did. What did I do?
Even better.
There was about 30 minutes of random monster noises.
Yeah.
Oh.
You showed us all the different.
There was dialing the uvula.
Yeah. So, speaking of monsters, would you like to tell us about some monsters that you voiced?
Any monsters at all?
Any monsters.
Any old monster will do.
How about your favorite monsters?
How do I narrow down?
That's true. I'm like.
I mean, because every day, how it works for me is I will go in and a lot of shows, they just bring me in and I don't know what I'm going to do. Sometimes they'll send me a script, but I tend to not look at the script because it's often not that helpful. I'll start getting ideas. Well, I'll get ideas that are just my ideas, but that actually aren't what they're trying to do.
Oh.
If I can see a picture of it, that will tell me much more than a script. Oh. But even more so is just to go in and talk to the show creator, whoever that is, and for them to get to talk to them about the tone, of the essence of whatever this creature is, whether it's like I was doing chicken demon things the other day, and then more birds, and then some things it's like, well, it's like it's a dragon, but it's also more like a dog, and it has to act and behave like that. And these are things that I can't really tell unless I'm talking there with the show creator. So I just go in, I mean, the way I like to look at it is I'm not going in prepared, but I go in ready. It's more like you are when you do improv, where it's I don't know where the story's going to go, but I'm ready to tell the story. That's kind of what I do. It's the most efficient way to get them what they need efficiently and quickly.
So how was Momo described to you?
Momo, well, it was that I remember auditioning for it in my garage, and and they had artwork, and it looked like a gibbon, with big ears, and so I'd been fiddling with my uvula, which I highly recommend to anyone who's interested in this line of work to fiddle with your uvula, and that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, you don't just want like an ape or a monkey, which is that's kind of an inhale, like if you're doing like a pig, which, if you want to start trying this kind of stuff, you just start with a pig with a, that's an inhale,
I was like,
right?
that is not how I do a pig. I'm like,
oh, that's good too. That's good too. That's a different thing to fold in with a.
I love having Dee on this show so much.
It's so stupid. It's totally stupid.
No, it's amazing.
But it's fun. But yeah, so back to Momo, and so it was, I didn't want just a chimp or an ape, but I want something that sounded unique. And so, I threw out some of that stuff, and
I never look at him when he makes the noises.
Just look away. Just
no,
look
because
away.
then I hear Momo, and then I'm like, it's Momo.
It's Momo. Well, and hopefully, it looks like Momo and Appa are coming back, and hopefully I'll be involved with that. I don't know anything about that yet. I haven't been asked, but a lot of people have asked me about it, and I hope so. I hope, my fingers are crossed, and I would love for Mike and Brian to realize that universe in a 3D visual way, in a way that really adheres to their vision, as well as the writers and really the storyboards that they have. It's such a magnificent. That's such a magnificent show.
Oh yeah.
That's also very exciting that's coming back.
Yes, agreed. We're in a great time for all this kind of.
Well,
fun
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, there's here's what I think is really cool, is that there's great incentive for really innovative, top quality content.
Yes.
That's what's unique right now, is that the creation of content is not just controlled by dinosaur thinking. By as much as I love dinosaurs, I'm disparaging dinosaurs. By old-fashioned, old-fangled thinking that just wants to control. That there's a dynamic with the streaming services that I think is borrowed from the Silicon Valley entrepreneurial lean and mean mindset that trusts good creative people to just go do their thing. It's a creative model that's more like jazz than classical music. Classical music is more, and I love classical music.
Yeah.
But it's more top down. And it's controlled. There's freedom within that control, but it's a more top-down controlled thing. Whereas jazz is you have the head of the song, and maybe you have a band leader, maybe a head soloist, but ultimately it's a collaboration, and you kick it around to everybody, and you delegate the freedom of creativity more democratically. And because of that, you get something that's very spontaneous and creative and fresh. And so there's a lot of content that's being made now. I mean, that you are awash in choice of things to watch and partake of and to enjoy. So in that setup, the incentive is to make really awesome stuff. That's the stuff that's going to get your attention, not something that's just merely new or the same thing but just done slightly differently.
Right.
It's like you don't have to choose that anymore. Now you can go for something that knocks you out, that you've never seen before. That is a wild swing for the fences that maybe doesn't connect, but it's like, wow, what a swing that was.
Yeah.
And that to me is very encouraging.
Yes.
That I really love. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that's no good. Yes, they're still trying to figure out how to get the creative people paid well or adequately. That's always a moving target, and that's always a problem. But for me, in terms of someone who likes to watch things, who gets a charge out of a movie or a cartoon or a television show, is that there's more incentive for innovative, interesting, creative, cool stuff. That's what I love.
Absolutely. So speaking of some creative, cool stuff that you love,
Yes.
you're talking a little bit about dinosaurs.
Yes.
And you told me a story that I'm going to make you repeat on camera
Yes.
about little Dee who went and saw Jurassic Park.
I wasn't that little.
Well, you're
I'm an
littler
old
than
man.
you were.
I'm an old man. Ha! No, Jurassic Park, that came out, when did that come out? Like 92? Mm-hmm. My gosh, 92, I was
Yeah, because I was 9.
I was 30 years old then. I'm old. I'm an old man. But yeah, when Jurassic Park came out, see, when I was a little kid, my test for the deity, the existence of a creator, of a god, was to pray to him
In my little kid voice and saying, "Dear God, if you exist, just give me a sign. Let me see a dinosaur in my dreams."
and he never did, and it never happened. So I'm an agnostic still. All right, I'm an agnostic. I've not made up my mind yet. But when Jurassic Park came out and I saw it in the theater, this is when I was doing the walk around Beetlejuice at Universal Studios.
Yes, this is how this all comes together.
And then and doing the shows at Disney, and doing musicals at the Civic Theater in Orlando. I get to see the T-Rex bust out of that fence, and I stood up in the theater, in the middle of the theater, and just screamed with joy. I just wooted right there as loud as I possibly could, because like that is what I've been waiting my life to see. Something I thought I would never see realized, and there it was. And I gotta say, I saw it recently, and it's like that still looks pretty damn awesome.
Good.
To go back then, when they were just starting that, with Dennis Muren said, was messing around with his laptop and said, "Why don't we try this?" And he tried it a little bit, and Steven Spielberg says, "Yep, that's it. Sorry, Phil." And Phil Tippett, of course, it goes along, and who's also a hero of mine and whose stuff I really love. But it was a shift in how those things were done. And part of why that was done so beautifully and came together so beautifully is because you had a collaboration of the new, which was the digital, but also with people like Phil Tippett and Stan Winston, who had the practical and the motion experience of how the creatures behave and look. So that you look at that and it's like, damn, that integration is just, it's so beautiful, it's so glorious, it works so well. And most everybody just doesn't do that. They just don't do that. They make it all digital and they cheap out, and it just looks plastic and it doesn't look convincing or scary or real. And Jurassic Park, for almost all of it, it still looks great.
It looks so
It
real.
looks just great. And plus, it's not just that, but it's also how it's shot,
Yeah.
how it's acted, how it's all, what the Spielberg magic that is in full force in that. And also in the sequel, the second one especially, it's still very actively there,
That scene where they're in the sequel where they're like hanging off the cliff and the glass is breaking is like the thing that gives me the most nightmares to this day.
It's
A dinosaur on top and like a full drop below with glass and not being able to move.
Yeah.
Worst.
No, it's just brilliantly configured awesomeness. It's so fun and so awesome. I just love it so. And that's why I love this dinosaur egg right here.
So
That little egg of hope.
you guys, we're going to be giving away this dinosaur egg in the chats after this break, but we have a short break for you guys, and when we come back, you guys better have some cool questions for Dee. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. works, Mr. Dinosaur.
I'm gonna stop. I was exploring my upper register.
It's amazing. Like, I just feel like I get to listen to you work every time you're here.
It's all play.
Is that I'm going to ask you some questions from the audience.
Okay.
And if you really like a particular question, that person will win a dinosaur egg. This
Ooh.
dinosaur. Isn't
Ooh,
that tough?
This
It's
is
like no pressure at all.
This is a weighty choice.
I know. So you can since there's only one egg, guys. There's only one egg.
There's only one egg.
You can do a thing where you like, let's save that one and see, and then we'll decide at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll stick a pin in
Unless
that.
there's one in particular that you're like, nope, there's not going to be a better question than that.
That's it.
That's the egg question.
And we're done.
All right. So I'm going to start out with, ooh, this is a good one. Jeff Snyder wants to know, who is your favorite clone and why?
Jeff. Am I to choose among my children? Jeff. I'm gonna throw out a few favorite clones. I can't choose a favorite clone. I mean, I love Rex because he made it all to Endor. Okay, that's awesome. That is great. That is established. Dave Filoni said that.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's awesome.
I told you that. I was like, Rex made it to Endor. we're like, yeah.
That's right. That's right. That there is favorite right there. But also, I really love Cut LaQuaine. He was a one-off who was a dad, and I thought was a really interesting guy. I really loved Heavy, who was the first clone that really made a really awesome sacrifice scene. And he's a very fond place in my heart. Fives is unforgettable with just the saddest, most tragic story. Oh God, it broke my heart to do that one. I love my Fives, and 99. And 99 is another one-off that just is a heartbreakingly good, heroic, good person of a clone, and I love him too. So
every time someone breaks up 99, I start crying.
He's fantastic. I made actually for Comic-Con this year, I made a card with all of my favorite clones on there. There's like 5 or 6. I might have had another one that I hadn't mentioned on there, but I made a special little autograph card, and 99 was on there that I would just sign it and give to people for free. Which if you ever meet me and say, Dee, do you have a Clone Wars card that I can have? And I'll say yes.
Wow.
If I have it.
If you have it. Otherwise, you'll say no.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Paul would like to know, Mr. Baker, what was your favorite Halloween costume that you wore as a child?
Baker. Mr. Baker's my dad. Come on now. My name's Dee. My favorite childhood costume was this. I loved Planet of the Apes more than any other thing on the screen. And so I wanted to make myself like Cornelius in Planet of the Apes. I did not have access to a high-priced, awesome special effects makeup studio, so I got a bunch of brown modeling clay and shaped it into an ape face, and then smeared it into my skin to make myself ape face.
Oh my gosh. How did you get that back off?
Oh, it just sweated off. That darn stuff doesn't stick worth a hoot. And it didn't work very well, but I did for a moment look kind of like Cornelius in Planet of the Apes, and I was very happy.
Oh. This is a good one. At least I think so.
All right.
Benjamin wants to know, with a zoo full career of voices, what animal do you wish you could turn into for real? Like an animagus, but not stuck with an animal for the rest of your life. That's what I wrote.
To be a single animal, well, it wouldn't be Klaus Heisler. It would not be Klaus. Okay. I can tell you that. But I think
I forgot that you're Klaus.
That would suck. It would suck to be Klaus. It's like, hello, I'm in a bowl and horny and can't do anything, Everyone shits on me all day. I would, you wouldn't want to be him. I think of all the creatures, I would want to be, Daffy Duck's not a creature, is he?
I mean,
I would definitely want to be Daffy Duck if I could be Daffy.
Which animal would you be, what animal do you wish you could be for real?
Okay, well, I'm not going to count Daffy Duck, because Daffy Duck's a person.
Yes.
and I want to be Daffy Duck. But
Have you ever been Daffy Duck?
I've played him. I portrayed him in Space Jam, and in.
That's right, lady. Space Jam is that. Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Oh, she's
Broke
crying.
me, It's amazing.
She's weeping. She's weeping. Yes, Daffy. I did Daffy and Taz in that, and also we did about like 100 different little animated Looney Tunes shorts recently that were fantastic, and they were really good. And I did Daffy in those. Those are very funny, but they're not really airing them for some reason, and they're doing a new Looney Tunes show, and Eric Bowles is doing Daffy Duck now in that. It's kind of a character that different people get to do. But I'll throw in that to be a character, it probably would be Appa. I think I like Appa. He's strong and he can fly, and he's just kind of confident and relaxed and a cool guy, and I like Appa. So I'll choose Appa.
You just made Emily in customer support very,
Aw.
happy.
There's my Appa. He's coming back.
Would you rather be chased by dinosaurs or horror movie villains? This is from Ryan.
I'd rather be chased by a horror movie villain, because those usually there's if I can't foil the horror movie villain, at least Jamie Lee Curtis can. With the dinosaurs, you're screwed. The things can run faster than an ostrich, and they will just take you down, and it's done. You cannot run from a dinosaur. It just won't. No. I will take Jason or Freddy or Mike Myers or any of those over a dinosaur. Dinosaurs scare the crap out of me. Terrifying.
Mark would like to know, can you voice an Ewok singing Monster Mash? I'm asking this for you, Andy.
Well, let's see. Who could sue me for that?
Andy's just dying right now. It's the best.
These crossover properties. That could be a whole new thing. Maybe Hollywood needs that, because they just keep remaking things that they used to make. And I was thinking, what if they just take old separate properties and then put them together in a new movie? Like, for instance, Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins in...
Mary Poppins Returns.
Yeah, but having her play Mary Poppins in... What's that quiet movie, Stay Quiet?
Oh, A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place 2. Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins in A Quiet Place 2. Who would not want to see that? To see Mary Poppins come in and add her magic to, these horrible spider things that are trying to eat your children. I mean, that could be a new direction in that, in how to make people pay a lot of money to see movies.
That's true.
I feel we've never seen the upper end of Mary Poppins' powers yet.
Yes.
That's right.
Pretty sure
She is a
it's
super
guy.
being. She's a superpowered being, and she could really just take down a boss or an alien or any kinds of.
She'd be good in glass when they do that.
Oh, yeah, the new Glass movie.
Well, there's a theory that she's from Hogwarts.
Oh, she's from Hogwarts. Aw.
Mary Poppins is from Hogwarts?
That's a fan theory, yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
She came to take care of Muggle children.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh.
And she sings, because Harry Potter gets kind of grim there, doesn't it? They just
Yeah.
like.
Well, it's a different. I mean, it can't all be grim. Like it's an entire school, and we're following one student's story. So like, besides the Wizarding War that inevitably happens at the end, like other students are, like probably just having a normal school life, right? Until like a troll comes in, and they're like, God, Potter. Anyway, yeah. Anyway. Jamie Dewberry wants to know, Dee, are there any other movies, I think he means besides Jurassic Park, that have changed your life?
Oh gosh, a lot of movies have changed my life. I mean, so much of what I do is dialing back in through a database of creatures and monsters and things that I've learned from, and that impressed me and that excited me and that still do. In terms of,
I mean, you also mentioned Planet of the Apes.
yeah, Planet of the Apes. I mean, I thought when I was a kid, see, I didn't know what to do. And maybe you're a kid who doesn't know what you want to do. You know what? I think that's fine. I didn't know that I was going to be an actor until I was about 30, right? I don't think you have to know what you want to do in life. I don't think you have to know what you're going to do with what you're studying, just so long as you study something that you like and that you find how that's going to come together in your life. I'm really veering off of the question into some kind of a
This is
soapbox
really
that I have.
deep.
What was the question
The
again?
question is, what other films have changed your life?
Other films. Okay. Well, all right. Let's get down to it. What was my first movie that I saw was Dr. Dolittle. This is about a guy who talks to animals and speaks in animal voices, right? And then the second movie I saw was The Jungle Book, about a boy who goes to live with animals and talks to animals. My third movie was What's Up, Doc, with Barbra Streisand.
Oh my God.
She's awesome in that movie. If you look, you don't know what this movie What's Up, Doc is. I'm asking you to please go watch this movie. It's hilarious and it's fun, and Barbra Streisand sings, and part of that made me want to be an actor and wanted to be a performer. Mm-hmm. That and H.R. Puffin stuff.
Oh my God.
So here I am, this poor confused kid. I like animals, I like monsters, I like Planet of the Apes, I like Barbra Streisand. What am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? What am I to become? What's to become of me?
Oh my God. I'm going through in my head, by the way, the first movie I ever saw was Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
The second movie that I ever really remember seeing was Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. And then Batman, the Tim Burton Batman.
Oh.
Are we trying to say that these early movies shape us? Because,
It's very easy. You start connecting the dots in your life. Sometimes you have to get, older like me to actually have incentive to start doing things like, how did my life come together? Why am I like I am now? And you start looking back, it's like, well, clearly that connects to this. So that happened.
Yeah.
And then this connects to this, and then this, and that happened. So it's absolutely. I think, and that's part of the fun and part of the joy of when you find something that you love like that you're able to fold into a career, is that you're just being a happy kid when you go to work. You're just being somebody who loves doing something that's like what you did when you were a kid. My little studio in my garage that I just built, it's very modest, very small, but I'm surrounded by dinosaur figurines and Sideshow collectible stuff and DVDs from movies like John Carpenter's The Thing, which is one of the most awesome movies in the world. But I'm surrounded by these things that I've loved all my life, that I've loved since I was a kid. And you realize it's like when you go to a fan convention that these people who are 20, 30, 40, 50 or older, who come to these conventions and they're in this childlike state of wonder and joy again, because they're able to live these wonderful dreams, these wonderful fantasies that we can make for ourselves, that these worlds, these narratives that we want to inhabit. There's such a satisfaction, there's such happiness to that. And I think it's great. I think it's great. Halloween is great. Fan conventions are great.
That's amazing.
Fantastical entertainment is awesome.
This isn't a question, but Jasmine Edwards wants to say.
Jasmine, hey.
Says, she's an aspiring actor, and she says, as an aspiring actor, it's so inspirational to hear you talk about not starting until you're 30 and how you don't have to have it all planned out.
No.
Thank you.
No. You know what? You know what would have happened if I had studied acting? I wouldn't be an actor. Thank God I almost majored, I minored almost in German and majored in philosophy instead of studying acting. If I'd studied acting, I never would have become an actor.
That's amazing.
You study things that you like, that you love. You follow things that you love, your hobbies, things that feed your life. These are things that you have to have inside of you as a creative person, right? You can get the training and all that, or experience, or a combination of that. You can get that later. For me, acting was a hobby, and that later came back around to becoming something that I commit to and is my thing. But that was never the goal. I just was doing things I liked. I think it's more important for an actor or someone who wants to act to have this palette, this inner palette that you paint from, to have those colors activated and accessible inside of you. And you don't necessarily get that by studying acting. The acting may help you free that, but it may shut that down. And you want to, if you're going to study it, it's got to be done in a way that it releases that it enlivens that it fills that up so that it comes out. My version of doing that is playing video games, watching monster movies and cartoons, getting on a stage and doing whatever stupid thing, they'll give me $5 to do, and trying lots of different things, traveling, being around different people, not just being around actor people. Actor people are great. I love gypsy people. Most of my friends are gypsy people. I'm a gypsy person, kind of. But you want to be around a whole mixture of things in your life to become your own thing, to weaponize your own talents so that you become your own unique voice, whether you become a voice actor or an on-camera or whatever. I'm just going on and on about this.
I have a radical idea.
Yes.
So my radical idea is this, and this is totally up to you since this is under your jurisdiction.
Yes.
So you know how you said that you had a studio where you put things that inspire you?
Yes.
How cool would it be to give this to Jasmine, who is an aspiring actress
Yes.
that you just inspired?
Yes.
And now she can have this to stare at and remember the things that...
Jasmine, within this magical egg lies your future.
But don't break it open.
Don't break it open now. It must be properly heated and cared for over the years, so that one day it will hatch into this amazing creature that you don't even know what it is yet. But you are the one who has put together the different disparate fibers of DNA, partially from a chicken, maybe from a frog, but there's also some of that DNA from the mosquito that they got out. And this could be it for you.
And will you sign it for her?
Yes. I don't want to deface it.
Well, how about the bottom of the page or something?
Yes. I don't want to deface the egg.
Okay. Well, yes. So Jasmine, please email social@sideshow.com, and your subject line can be, I don't know, what should her subject line be?
Magical egg.
Magical egg. Magical egg of dreams.
Aw.
But yeah, that's amazing. I think that's a really cool gift you just gave her in several different ways. Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
That was really amazing. I feel like you're getting asked to do a lot of different voices.
I'm a show-off. I'm a big show-off. I don't care.
Someone is asking for you to do an impression of me, but you mentioned that you're not that much of an impressionist.
I'm not much of an impressionist guy. Sometimes I can do that, but I don't really think of myself as an impressionist or really as a sound effects guy even. I think I'm primarily an actor and a show-off and an improviser. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that will lead me to an impression or a weird sound, but it's more my mission is as a problem-solving actor, a voice actor.
Amazing.
That's what I do.
So to that, everyone's really happy for Jasmine.
Yay, Jasmine!
Yeah, Jasmine's amazing.
Go, Jasmine! Never forget.
Oh. Do you have any fun stories from the Legends of the Hidden Temple set?
Yes, my watch is telling me to breathe.
Oh, my watch does that to me too.
Thank you, little watch. Let's see, a fun story from Legends of the Hidden Temple. Let's see, it was really fun doing that show. Do you guys remember that show out there?
I remember that.
Legends.
No.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Olmec.
I was Olmec, and I was puppeting Olmec. I was moving his mouth.
Oh my gosh.
That's probably...
I was a blue monkey, through and through. I was blue barracudas, green monkeys.
The purple parrots,
Yeah.
right?
'Cause
Yes.
Me and my brother and my sister all picked two, because there were three of us, and we each got two each time, and we, whoever got through, it wasn't bets, but it was chores.
Yeah.
You have to do the dishes for me. If,
You're picking the racehorse and whoever wins.
Essentially, yeah. So we would each pick at the beginning, okay, you have the, the purple. I remember I picked purple parrots and blue barracudas a lot because blue and purple were my favorite colors. So, and if they got to the end, I got to pick who did my chores.
I never realized that show led to gambling addiction for children. That's
or just my household.
That's kind of heartbreaking. But Yeah, so I mean that's a way better story than anything I think I have to tell about Legends of the Hidden Temple, where really Kirk Fogg had to do most of the work and the heavy lifting, and I just kind of got to hang around inside this giant fake rock head and move its mouth and talk, which was fun. I like being in a little cave. I'm like a cave dweller of sorts, and I'd have like a little monitor there, one that would show like what the camera feed was. And then one that would show, I think Olmec, so I could see what was going on with him. And yeah, and I'd be talking to them, and as when we started, it started that Olmec didn't really say very much. He would just kind of ask questions on the steps of knowledge.
Oh yeah.
And Kirk would have to read everything, and is like, okay, we need to give Olmec something more to do because Kirk is tired. So if you watch the seasons, if they ever show them again, that as you get further along in the seasons, Olmec has more and more to do because Kirk is just like, guys, this is really hard. and he's just standing back there. And he was right. So Olmec starts asking more questions and doing more interaction with the actual games and all of that.
So we're just about out of time, but I feel like this is a super great question to end the show on. Michael Lampkin says, if the meaning of life could be described in a sound effect, what would that be? And could you do it?
There it is.
Oh, thank you so much for being on the show. And
Happy
you guys
Halloween.
happy Halloween, happy Spooktacular.
best-
Thank you so much for
It's
watching.
the most wonderful time
It's
of the year.
All right, you guys are awesome, and congratulations to Jasmine. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, and don't forget to let your geek side show.
Farewell.
Thank you.
Farewell.